Alright, hello extras, hello extras. I'm gonna throw challenge screen, we're doing this live. Basically, this is going to be a rundown or my thoughts. What the things that could be improved with Legends and what I like about it. There's a lot of things I want to talk about. First things first, I'm not being paid to say this. Well, technically I am if you use code ISAB and buy Rogue Legend in the shop. Wink wink nudge nudge, but I'm having a lot of fun with this game mode. It is an amazing concept, I think, for, I guess, I don't know, turning BTD6 into a roguelite. However, I do think the execution could be improved a little bit. So I have a bullet point of things that I want to talk about that I think can be improved. Now, I'm not gonna just leave you on the screen. I'm just gonna do this race, or this boss in the background. Before that, let me restart the game, because it's so laggy. So these are my thoughts on the game mode as somebody who, I will make it clear, does not play roguelikes or roguelites, aside from this one. Just a guy that plays balloon, pops a lot of balloons, so I'm going to be speaking from that perspective. If I, please correct me though, for those watching live, if I say something that's not true of other roguelikes or other games in the genre. So, this is in regards to balance, first things first. Not necessarily about it as a roguelike itself, but the difficulty is definitely something we gotta talk about. I'm talking specifically the end stage bosses. In my first run, Balloon Arius was so hard. He was so hard, guys. I got X Factor, Balloon Arius stage 4, which, I mean, I did beat without losing a life, but it was rough, and I think for many other players, they would probably fail in that situation. Not a flex, I'm just saying. But all the other bosses were a piece of cake. So, I don't know what went on with the balancing, but I don't get why one boss is so much harder. Well, I get why, because of the balloon insights, but I'm not sure how that made it through testing. Because the issue with the other bosses is that they spawn nothing else overly difficult. Let me know if your experiences were different and, like, struggling against other bosses, but yeah, I found them way too easy for them being a final stage boss, so that I got very underwhelmed on the very last stage 5 when I had phase, and I literally beat it with a solo Dark Knight. Meanwhile, I was sweating my butthole off against Balloon Arius. So I think the big issue is the HP. So apparently it's 30k stage 1, 60k, 90k, and then 150k stage 5. That scaling is way too low for the amount of snowball you can get with artifacts. Right? Let me move chat also. It's covering that menu and it's not as visible, but yeah. I don't know why I'm surprised the HP scaling is only linear when basically your power goes exponential. In fact, that would also fix the Balloon Arius being OP, like, insane problem, because the issue is that Balloon Arius having less HP is actually harder, because the issue is the balloon spawn, so you get F-bads on, like, stage 4 and 5. So if it was like a weak Balloon Arius, that like it is right now, then like you basically just have to avoid doing damage at all, which is kind of anti, I guess, the point of, or what you want to do for the other bosses, where you want to pop them earlier. Different strategies fine all, but yeah, it's just no. No. So I would just say change the scaling of the HP. Maybe, like, I don't know. I think 1,000,000 is not even too extreme for a stage 5. I still think that would be easy as cake. Or maybe yeah, but that's too bold to say. But that's my first point. Make it so that Balloon Arius isn't, like, 500 times harder than all the other end stage bosses, and so it makes it kind of an RNG roll. Also, depending on the map you get. The second point I want to make is red balloon encounters. People have already talked about this 100 billion times, but I'm gonna say it again. It's too much of a boredom fest, especially at the later stages where you're not gonna lose to them at all. It's simply just there to get in the way and waste time. I think people have made suggestions to either lower the amount of encounters or among other things, lower the amount of rounds. I like all those suggestions. Another suggestion I think that people have floated around is the idea of different round sets in the form of like how they did in BMC, where I stopped working, sorry. Where there were cluster tiles, regen tiles, camo tiles. Obviously, camo only would be an issue, like, if you got it early in Legends, but I'm surprised they didn't implement that, because that does seem like a way to spicing up the balloon counters. Right? Like, instead of having the same round set, which is why I was, again, surprised that the rounds were not randomly generated. That would, like, add one layer to make things more interesting if, say, NK didn't want to lower the amount of rounds. If you haven't noticed by now, this is true for all Ninja Kiwi games, they want you to grind. They want you to play for longer. So, yeah. It's a common theme for them to, or for certain game modes or certain things to just have incredible amounts of downtime. Where you're not doing anything but waiting around. I found that to be the case every single friggin' time. Yeah, I don't have much more to say about red balloon counters. Everyone has already been talking about them, so I'm not the only one with that take. Yeah, and there's legendary tiles too, so that would be the perfect time to make them like slightly more difficult. Next thing is some goals not scaling. Again, this is, I guess, the same issue as like the end stage bosses. But at a certain stage, the mini races or the mini games are too easy, whereas at stage 1, they're incredibly hard. So yes, for me, stage 1 was indeed harder than all the other stages. Maybe aside from stage 4, but that's just because I got a bit unlucky in my draw. But the goal's not scaling. The race is, for some reason, always static every time. 853 are the rewards, whether it be stage 1 or stage 10. But it makes no sense because you can always insta-send every round once you get it to a certain stage in the race. So getting 3 minutes is so easy. People finish in 1 minute. Same with the mini-boss, although lesser extents. It does go up, but not by enough, I don't think. I think Stage 1's legendary goal is like 50 or something, and then Stage 5 is like only 70. But you get 70 within like seconds, again, because of your ramping up. I think the balance of that could be a bit better, because now it just makes it you get free legendaries from those tiles, which is not as fun, I guess, personally speaking. It makes getting legendaries too easy, and that just keeps snowballing into you picking up every single legendary in the game. I want, like, the point of the minigames were supposed to be that the highest goal was a challenge. Like, if the red balloon counters are too easy, then, hey, a good challenge would be getting the highest goal, no matter what stage you're on, in your run. But I found it that from stage 3 onward, I picked up every single legendary. Okay, not quite. I might be lying. But it was too easy to get legendaries. It didn't feel good when I got the legendary, but I want it to feel good. People have also talked about this as well, but the tokens are useless because you pretty much already have all the artifacts that you want, and the shop doesn't scale at all. Like, the chances, I guess, of a legendary are the same, I think, in a stage 5 shop versus stage 1 shop. So there's not enough items. Like, at a certain point, it feels worse playing balloon encounters too, because like you only get tokens from that for the most part. But then the tokens are freaking useless, because, you know, Geraldo's shop has nothing. He sells shit. He sells poop in the shop. So that was a bit a thing that I think could be improved. Make the shop scale. I think I saw someone else float the idea of selling instas in the shop. I thought that's pretty cool, because you can right now only add a new member to your party from the rest tile. I found I hardly use recruit though, I think it'd be cool for him to sell them for a certain cost, but that would take time for them to implement, I would think. As of right now, it's only those artifacts. Those are my thoughts on the tokens. Map scaling is my next point. Again, I played Rake Tier 5 Final Boss. I got X Factor Stage 4 Final Boss. That doesn't feel like good scaling to me. I know it should be, like, RNG is part of it, but, like, yeah. That can be better, I think. End of story. Make it feel good by giving me a harder map, I guess, on the final stage. Maybe the variation of difficulty in maps could be better, too, because I went from, like, Candy Falls, again, to Bloody Puddles within a 3-map difference. I don't think there should be any reason to have easy maps in Stage 4. Thank you, plus 1 for 13 months. That would also be a good time for NK to change the difficulties of the maps internally. Like, because obviously everybody knows Infernal is not an expert map, so it should be considered advanced for the algorithm generation in this game mode. You feel me? Polyphemus as well? I guess, stuff like that. I don't know. But I found the variation just too crazy between maps. I was still consistently getting intermediates on Stage 5. And I just kind of wanted to go to sleep, you know what I mean? I slept my way through Stage 5. It didn't feel too good. I mean, after watching the first time, Alchemist shred everything, or a Super Monkey shred everything, seeing it 10 times over ends up being a sleeper. There will be more Legends later, you just have to wait for me to finish, okay? I'm almost done my points. The last point I wrote down is artifacts. Artifacts. Again, the balance of artifacts. People have said that it's supposed to be a thing in roguelikes, that the artifacts... Some artifacts are supposed to be bad. Some are supposed to be good. Like, way better. Like, Spoily Darts being better than a lot of artifacts. That's normal for some to be like that. However, I think ISAB's just lucky as fuck. Excuse me. You should go watch my X Factor Lunaris run again. Anyway, that chatter aside. People complain about, like, I guess the downsides. Some artifacts just have so big downsides that they're never worth really picking up. And that feels bad, I guess. You want to feel good picking up a new artifact, and not feeling like you got burned on them. And that goes to say... because there's so many artifacts in the game that are only simple stat bonuses, stat changes, there is not enough unique feeling artifacts. Although personally, since I haven't played other roguelikes, it didn't feel too bad in my first run, but I can see in later runs, like, it getting pretty stale, because, like, once you've figured out the first couple unique artifacts that change the game enough, then there's only so many ways to play, ultimately. NK did say they put a lot of dev time into the artifacts, but I guess they could do a bit more than this. There's 60 in the game, by the way, but not all 60 have 3 tiers. Some only have legendary, some only common, some rare only. The 60 also includes the 5 essences, so there's only 55 technically that you can encounter normally. But yeah, I hope they do add more artifacts. I think they probably are planning for them. I bet modders will probably mod the game to make custom artifacts so that people who only download mods can play. IDK. That'll be fun if any modders get to that. Yeah, nerf Spoily Darts is one more thing I gotta say. Don't worry, they're already gonna do that, I think. Alright, yeah, so that's basically everything I noted down. There's probably a bit more that I could criticize, but I think I've already talked a lot about the downsides. Again, this doesn't mean even despite saying all these things, I have really enjoyed my time playing Legends. And again, I'm not just saying that so that you guys keep watching, and or use code ISAB to buy Legends, which a lot of people already do. But I want the best for it. which is why I am, you know, saying all of these things that could be improved on. And if you haven't heard already, NK, it might already be live by the time I post this on Extras, but NK is going to do a hotfix to fix some of the issues. I think mostly bugs, but I think they'll probably cover the you know, the common issues with Legends as well. I do think they need to add more artifacts because, like, I basically already encountered every single artifact in my first run, so my second run, I'm already gonna know what everything is. So I'm not gonna really have any cool new discoveries. I also I don't know if this is a thing again in roguelikes, but I ended up collecting over half the artifacts of the game, 35 of them. So it felt like I could just end up doing the same thing by the end. You know what I mean? I almost died. What the heck? Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Alright, we're good. Holy crap, I can't believe I've yapped for 20 minutes about my thoughts on Legends. Again, I rate pretty good out of 10. Again, as somebody who doesn't play roguelikes, this has definitely made me be like, hey, roguelikes they sound pretty cool. Again, I'm not gonna, like, don't suggest games. I just don't feel like playing them. I don't have enough time either. I'm too old. Anyway, that's all. If you're watching on Extra, subscribe. Leave your thoughts below as well, because I'm curious to know.